Hi everyone, it's Paula Kettula, licensed clinical social worker here. I am the owner and founder of Porta Verum Psychotherapy Services, and I am here today with one of my wonderful providers who's been with us for many years, Logan West Mathews, who is an LMFT and LPCC. So today we're going to dive a little deeper about Logan's work and his approach to therapy and the kind of clients that he works with. So happy to have you here today, Logan.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, tell us a little bit about your journey to become a therapist. What sort of prompted you to choose this career? That is always so interesting to know about that and why this became a passion for you.
It's a really great question. I became a therapist because I directly saw how transformative therapy was for my own life. Growing up, I had many challenges. I was profoundly deaf for the first portion of my life, and it was really hard to make sense of kind of the incongruencies I was experiencing compared to other children my age. And as such, I became very fascinated with the concept of therapy. And I have found that I generally enjoy helping clients make the same sense of what they're experiencing and recognizing that change is possible even when life feels overwhelming or confusing.
I love that statement, that change is possible even when life feels overwhelming or confusing. And that's the key in transformation and in therapy. And I really love that you have kind of transformed your own challenges, your experiences with your own challenges into helping others and supporting others. It's really coming from the heart, huh?
Absolutely.
Well, tell us a little bit more about who do you love to work with? So what kind of population do you work with? Children, teenagers, adults? So tell us a little bit more about your experience and expertise, and like, who do you feel like you are the most effective and helpful with?
I primarily enjoy working with adults and older adolescents who are struggling with anxiety, depression, stress, trauma, relationship challenge, or even just major life transitions that may seem common to most people, but can be very, very overwhelming.
A lot of that going on right now is that overwhelm from expectations that are self-imposed and imposed by others. And then finding that middle ground somewhere there where people have this sense that my needs matter too. I think it's such a powerful work. What kind of modalities do you use with your clients and in your practice?
I would like to think my approach to modalities is kind of eclectic. I like to pull from many different schools of thought because everyone is different. And I believe that my approach in therapy should be not only practical, but collaborative. So if something's not working for someone, I don't believe in just keep trying the same thing. I believe in finding what works right for that one person. And that might mean I draw from CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, mindfulness, motivational interviewing, and of course, solution focused, because I believe if people are seeking therapy, they're looking for answers, and solution focused is a great way of diving on in.
Absolutely. I happen to know Logan for some years, and I know that you're really great at that. Like, so many times I've had this experience with you where you can take something that is pretty big or complex and you just say a couple sentences and it makes sense to me. So I love that Logan has that capacity. Out of all those modalities, do you have your favorite?
I really enjoy solution focused and motivational interviewing. And I believe that these two, and with others as well, but that these two can really provide a lot of insight, and it can help clients leave the session and have tools that they can actually use in everyday lives. Effective therapy isn't just that 1 hour that we share. It should ideally stay with you for the whole week.
Absolutely. So important. I love that point because therapy is not just about let's sit down for this hour and talk about stuff, but most of the therapy happens actually in between sessions. And I'm hearing that your clients really leave the session with some practical tools that they can kind of practice during the week. When you see the client the next week, is this something that you follow up with them in terms of what worked, what didn't work? Tell us a little bit more about that so clients can get an idea of like what they can expect in sessions with you.
I think that I always do try to touch on what was previously discussed, but also I like to meet the clients where they are that day. And if they didn't have time to practice the skills, it's not about judgment or shame. We might explore what kind of barriers occurred, but ultimately I'm there to meet the client where they are in that day. And I guess as such, my goal is to really create an environment where people feel comfortable being themselves, not trying to impress me, not trying to impress anyone, but just being real. And sometimes we forget things, and that's okay. So I like to be kind of conversational and collaborative and not overly formal. And so I guess the first question would be, what should they expect from therapy?
Yeah, that sounds like a good place to start, is doing that collaboration, like what is expected from therapy. And I'm hearing like, there's no pressure. Like, okay, there could be some practices, some homework, but there's no pressure to perform any of that. Tell us a little bit more about the beginning parts of therapy. So how does the first session look like with your client, or maybe the first 2 to 3 sessions? What can people expect to experience?
During the first session, I think a lot of clients should come prepared to really just explore what brings them into therapy. I like to discuss our goals because as a solution-focused therapist, I believe that we should be working towards our goals and making sure that we're a good fit. Because at the end of the day, it isn't just about seeking therapy, it's about finding a therapist that you truly connect with. So the first session is truly just to get to know each other and really make sure that we have a clear idea of what we want to address.
I love that you said that, figuring out if we are a good fit for each other, because that's such an important thing. Like there's no way that anybody can go into this vulnerable healing journey if they feel like something is off or it's not a great fit. Like the trust and safety and all those things are so key. So I guess what I also want to say to people who are listening to this interview is, and if you are in the process of finding a right therapist, just say so. If it's your first intake assessment, that doesn't mean that now you're like locked in and committed for life. This is a place actually to say and share your concerns and bring up your questions too. Like I could imagine it's also an opportunity for clients to ask you questions, Logan, and get to know you as well.
Absolutely.
So I have one final question for you, which is, what would be helpful for someone who is just in the beginning of their therapist journey, maybe somebody who is right now listening to this and wondering whether they could get started or not? What's something helpful or hopeful that you could share with the audience about the therapy process or therapy journey?
I think one of the most important things to know is you don't have to be in crisis to benefit from therapy. It's okay to come to therapy because you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or simply want to understand yourself better. There doesn't need to be one big trauma, and it's never too early to start.
I love that. Such a good reminder that there doesn't have to be a big crisis, and actually maybe don't even wait to get to a crisis point. Seek support early. Sometimes therapy can just be there to learn to understand yourself better and learn to strengthen relationships, figuring out how can we get along better as a family or with your partner, friends, and all that. That's a really wonderful reminder for people that starting therapy doesn't have to mean that there's something terribly wrong going on, that it is something can be just part of your self-care. So that's a really wonderful reminder. Well, before we wrap up, Logan, was there anything else you wanted to share with the audience that maybe I haven't asked or comes to your mind at this moment? Or do you feel like we've covered everything?
I think it's just important for clients and potential clients to really understand that the goal of therapy and the end of each session is hopefully just to feel a little bit more understood or seen, and maybe a little bit more helpful or hopeful even.
Yeah.
And with something practical that they can work on each week, as I earlier mentioned. Therapy isn't about becoming someone different or being someone for someone else. It's about you becoming the authentic you and being seen for that.
Oftentimes it's like that return to one's authentic self, which also reminds that is our name and our mission and vision is that. Porta Verum Psychotherapy Services comes from Latin. Porta is door or window. Verum is the truth. So it's kind of like window or portal to your true self. And all of us therapists are here to guide our clients to discover that. We can't walk the journey for you. We can be there with you, alongside you. So if you resonated with Logan today, please reach out to us. I'm going to drop a link below this video where you can just go to our website and learn some more about how we do things and what our practice is all about. And also, I'm going to drop another link there where you can get in touch with our onboarding specialist. And that way you can start the conversation about whether we take your insurance and what the copay might be, and also talking about Logan's availability. And of course, if you want to set up a consultation with Logan, we do offer free 15-minute consultation. So you can just kind of little meet and greet with Logan. Anything you want to say about those consultations, Logan, by the way? Like, what's the point of those? Like, what do you want people to get out of those?
I think the biggest goal for an orientation is not the modality, but to get to know the therapist and see if it's a good fit. Because at the end of the day, the fit matters far more than the approach.
Exactly. So those are also available. Please get in touch, and thank you for listening. And thank you, Logan, so much for your time and sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you for having me.